did a continuity test here of my wiring, and I was able to test each wire, and there is no continuity between them. And then one sec. Going down over, basically walking down to the other end of the mast. Here's what I did. So the yellow wire had the problem. I took the yellow and the ground. I tied them together, and I did this test for all of the wires. So they're still, none of them are touching except for the yellow and the ground. And then after running that test, I was able to find every connector, and basically none of them are touching, and all of them have connectivity properly through the jacks. And then it doesn't connect anywhere else. So what I was able to determine was that the wires are actually good. And that was a bigger problem. So then I thought about it for a while, and I realized that right in the end of the connector, it was wet. So I thought about that for a while, and I said, well, you know what, it probably shorted across the water. It basically made the connector irrelevant. And I had like it was like a slowly degrading problem, so it was like there must have been just a little bit of water that was jostling around in there every time that I leaned. And then we, and I remember we just had a ton of rain, but even when I took it down here, it was full of water. So what I'm going to do, I'm pretty confident that the transducer is fine. There's no short in the wire, and it's actually in good shape. So I'm going to dry it out, and then before the spring, and I'm going to just put some dielectric grease in there. I probably should have done that, putting the connector on in hindsight. So all of my problems were related to that. And then of course, when you search for problems, you find other problems. And now I know why my VHF is not working. So down here at this end, my VHF cable was actually right here. It corroded itself down to the point where it shorted. So I guess it was just moving slightly like this, and it chafed and broke. Not to mention that it was shorting right against the mast itself. So I went out and bought some connectors, and I'm just going to make a little joiner piece for now, because the cable looks fine. I can rectify that by just putting a little joiner, making two new ends, soldering them, and then it'll be a lot better shape. So I've got to take this out, and I've got to take out my VHF antenna, and I'm going to just do an inspection of all of my pieces right here to make sure that everything looks fine before putting away. But I can see right now this stuff is still looking really good. I'm not seeing any wear marks at all. I didn't really do enough sailing to... Going out once a week is not the same as sailing every day for, crossing an ocean. So yeah, everything's looking really good actually. So I'm just gonna get this up off the ground, take this out, take out my flag lines. See that or not, but I'll zoom in hopefully with the camera. That's the best I'm getting here on a cloudy day. 90 watts out of my 400 watts. 70 volts, and it's putting in almost 2 amps of charging right now. Oh, there we go, 110. The sun actually is just peeking out as I go. So look at the difference the sun makes coming out from the cloud. But this is November, or not November, but almost, was it October 30th? So basically November 1st here. End of October, 1st of November, and we don't get a lot of direct sun. So having a cloud overcast day just gives you an example. So 75, 73 volts. And so I'm not even getting the voltage that I would typically see, and I'm getting 100 watts worth. So it's pretty, not very effective. So this is a piece of the cable. It's a RG8 cable. And then these connectors are PL-259s, I think. this on first. So I'm doing that so I don't mess up. And this is the tip of the cable. This is where I think the black should be cut here. So basically the black should be cut there. And I think I'm just going to cut the black first and then screw or to take a look and see where this will come out. So basically I want the tip to come out right at the tip here. So I just want to have the tip of the inner wire be right there. So I'm marking where to cut this because I want to expose the outside edge and then solder it here, kind of like right here. These little gaps is where you would solder the negative, and then the positive, which is the middle, I need to come out to the end and I need to drop a piece of solder in there. Be really careful. I can see now doing this I can barely scrape the cable. It's pretty old, so that's probably why I'm having a hard time with it. So just barely touch the cable. Okay, I did not touch the inside at all that time. So I've got, looks like I cut 2 strands out the last time, so 3 strands. No, I didn't cut any of the strands. So that's what I'm starting with. Basically, I've got my copper wrapped around the insulator, and it's not, none of the strands are touching the top. And a way to test this is with my multimeter. Alright, so you can see in there, I've got a little bit of copper showing. So I'm going to get my continuity tester now and just make sure that this is not touching that before I solder it. It's a little bit cool in here, but okay. So that's continuity testing. Just going to check both ends. Looks good. No beep is good. I'm going to drop a piece of solder right in that little gap, and then on the tip, and then on the other side, just to make sure that the connector is good. Slide this up, and then I'm going to cover it up with some heat shrink. How much this uses? So I'll put it on hot. We'll see what happens. Alright, so putting it on 1, 39 watts. If I put it on 2, yeah, 60 watts, 68. Yeah, my solar is actually compensating for this, so, and my battery voltage is actually increasing, 51.8, 51.82, 81, 80. So it's not really changing much, 70 watts, so not too much of an issue with this thing here at all. So I'm just going to stick that like that and let it get hot. Just touching. So that's no good. I held the soldering iron too long on this side and I actually went through the insulation in the middle. So I'm going to back this out and redo it. So it's good. That was much easier putting the paste flux. Continuity test. Looks good to me. So slide that thing on. It's not easy coming down these stairs. Well, that's the last piece I have, just a little piece of heat shrink, and as you can imagine, beginning of the season, I don't know where half my tools are. It's not where I thought it was, so I got to go get my heat gun. It blew something. It was going up to 600 watts and then just shut off. So let me go look at what happened inside. Alright, so extension cord plugged into extension cord, plugged into extension cord, but I just have to do this one piece. So that's my repair job. And now I'm just going to put this heat shrink on it. And that's a wrap, as they say, eh? So I think I'm good now. I'm just going to drill out this hole bigger, but I'll do that in the spring. And I'm going to take this grommet and move it down, and I'm going to pack this one up because I'm not using it. So I'll put a little plate there so that water doesn't get in. Okay, this is inside. Yeah, I don't need one there. I definitely need one here, though. There's an exit block that's missing. I don't know if I did that right or not, but it works fine. I made some good progress today on the VHF, and then I did diagnose my problem with the wind transducer, so I was pretty happy about that. My cable was fine, no chafing, so it's not what I thought. It was just simply water. It's got to be that water in the transducer. So there's a way to test the transducer, so I'm going to see what I can figure out by just measuring the voltages on the transducer itself as opposed to the cables, because I'm pretty sure the cables are all fine. So yeah, but I did find a problem with the VHF, so I'm glad I got that sorted. Now I just want to get maybe saran wrapping it. I'm going to dry off what I can, but I want to take this boot off here at the bottom. I'm just going to slip that down because see if I can make a new one. So that's probably what they did. They probably just folded it and then cut out a corner piece to get the shape they wanted. So I'll do the same on a bigger piece just so I have more. I just want to double up the length of it at the bottom. Okay, well, my mast is about done. I'm going to do the saran wrap next, and that will be basically done now for the remainder of the season. I think I used a third of the roll, so it should last a few more years. It's heavy lifting that mess by myself. Yeah, even though I was only lifting the ends, it was pretty brutal. We took the cotter pin out of the, I can't remember what these are called, castle nuts, I think. And that was not difficult. Let's see if I can get this off. You can see I can move it around, but the plastic part and the key inside is getting caught as soon as I get it down a bit. So I need either a punch to punch the key out right up there, so I gotta find some way to do that. And I think it's the key that's getting me stuck. Well, this is what the vehicle looks like. I got a little bit of room this time here, but pretty packed. That's about as much as I can get into it. You can see that's what the vehicle looks like when you're trying to get everything you can out of the boat. I've got a little bit of room in the front seat here, but not much. That's all the stuff. Can you believe that? I got fit out of my boat. It's a crazy amount of stuff. And then I even have some sail bags back here. So I've got one in here still. It's like, I don't know, that's just obscene. I think I'm gonna go through and try to throw out half this stuff. And we'll get ready on arch construction. So I've been waiting a while to do this. And it's a beautiful day. What I'm hoping on is that you can see my solar panel has a bracing on the rail